Good evening and many thanks for joining us live on QTV. You are watching QTV News and I am Ajibinto Drame. In tonight's top stories. At the ongoing AU summit in Equatorial Guinea, the Gambia pledged $100,000 and joined other countries who also pledged to help respond to humanitarian crises across Africa. The Gambia on Thursday and Friday experienced the first rainfall of the year, which caught many by surprise because the Department of Water Resources had forecast that rains were expected to begin in the second week of June. 22 suspects have been arrested for violation of the Tobacco Control Act in a joint task force operation involving public health officers, the National Drug Law Enforcement and partners. UNFPA, in collaboration with partners, on Saturday gathered stakeholders and school children to commemorate Menstrual Hygiene Day, which is commemorated globally on 28th May each year. Those were our main headlines. Now the news in detail. Now, at the ongoing AU Extraordinary Summit in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, President Barrow on Friday called for a strengthened continent's legal instruments and operational protocols to effectively protect internally displaced persons and other vulnerable groups. As QTV's Aliou Cisse reports, the Gambia pledged $100,000 and joined other countries to help respond to humanitarian crises in Africa.
In his address to the summit in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, during a session dedicated to various humanitarian crises in Africa and pledging conference to raise funds, President Barrow welcomes what he calls the collective undertaking to examine and redefine the continental initiatives for improving our humanitarian situation, which he said will continue to be potential channel to realize the Africa we want. The Gambian leader implored his colleagues to keep up the momentum to implement sustainable recovery programs, citing food insecurity and other menaces as major hindrance to development.
Excellencies, food insecurity continues to impact negatively on our development, and malnutrition has become a challenge. Sustainable investments in agriculture as a solution is a valid proposal to adopt, with the funding gaps addressed through collective partnerships. The health systems of member countries have been subjected to immense pressure due to the prevailing pandemic. Unfortunately, the situation is worsened by reported human rights violations, gender-based violence, and violence against women and children.
He advocated the need for strengthening continental legal instruments and operational protocols to effectively protect internally displaced persons, refugees, asylum seekers, and other vulnerable groups.
Our collective drive and situation of the continent. The youth and women are essential stakeholders for improving humanitarian situations.
On the process of operationalizing the African Humanitarian Agency, President Barrow urged the summit to ensure an expedited process to establish an institutional framework that provides timely humanitarian intervention to distressed societies.
The situation highlights the importance of financing climate change mitigation efforts. We must continue to consider sustainable financing for climate change mitigation and adaptation. Accordingly, my government has embarked on a process of formulating a green-focused development plan and long-term vision.
President Barrow joined other leaders to pledge that the Gambia will contribute $100,000 to the African Humanitarian Agency.
Gambia will contribute and we will pledge $100,000 to the humanitarian fund.
Other countries made pledges, including Nigeria, that pledged to contribute $3 million and Sierra Leone $500,000. It is estimated that 113 million Africans need urgent humanitarian assistance this year, including 48 million refugees, asylum seekers, and internally displaced people. The second session of the summit was held on Saturday and focused on terrorism and unconstitutional government change in Africa, something many say is one of the root causes of the humanitarian crisis on the continent. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The Gambia on Thursday and Friday experienced the first rainfall of the year, which caught many by surprise. This is because the Department of Water Resources had forecasted a week earlier that rains were expected to begin between 12 to 18 June this year. QTV's Anzumani Isonyasi went out to gauge public reaction to this first unexpected rainfall of the year and its impact.
Before Thursday and Friday's downpours, not many had expected rainfall until at least mid-June this year. And until 5 p.m. on Friday, there were no signs it was going to rain heavily. However, to the surprise of many, it rained heavily in some parts of the country, especially in the Upper River region, and within the Greater Banjul area, the rains lasted for hours. The impact of Friday night's rains can be seen in many places, and while some welcomed the rains with excitement, some, especially those living in flood-prone areas, are worried that heavy downpours such as last night's spell the beginning of their nightmares once more. Usman Cham of Latrikunda German, Omar Balde, an auto painting workshop owner in Kotu, Abdullah Low and Babukar Sar, all auto painters at Kotu Kware, said last night's rains came as a surprise to them and went on to explain how it has affected their work. Some people are in difficulty as we speak due to the impact of last night's rain. Though some are lucky that they can go about their normal business, I am pleading with everyone that we help our neighbors who are struggling financially. Sometimes we are forced to stop work until after the raining season. So you can imagine how much it affects our job and our livelihood. We are young people trying to earn a decent living, but when the rain comes, the whole place is inundated with water. It disrupts us a lot when it rains. We are mostly forced to suspend our work because of the rain. Imagine painting an entire vehicle only for the rains to wash everything away. It's hard and makes life very difficult for us. We are asking for help from everyone. The rains are a blessing for some, but for us, whenever it rains, we are worried. I pray that God makes things easy for the poor. If we have support, we will really appreciate it. Along the Manjai New Road, we found a group of taxi drivers. Pa Jeng, Ibrahim Seka, and Said Gay explain how last night's rain is already impacting their work. Yes, we do have challenges. You can see the state of our garage. Whenever it rains, we can hardly stay here. I ask that we remember the poor and the needy during times like this, and I call on government to support farmers by making fertilizer affordable. I call on the authorities to help us fix the gutters along Manjai Road. Whenever it rains, we are very worried because the gutters here are not covered. Also, when it rains at night, I think it is unwise to cut off power in some areas, and I wish to bring to NAWEC's attention that general blackouts, especially when it rains at night, endangers our lives. I am pleading with my fellow drivers to make sure their vehicles are in good condition and fit for traffic during the rainy season. Get good tires, fix your brakes, and make sure your wipers are working and in good condition. In the Gambia, the first showers usually occur in June, and the rains become more abundant in July, August, and September, when they exceed 200 millimeters per month. Earlier this year, the Department of Water Resources had warned of a high risk of flooding that could lead to losses of crops, material goods, and human lives in disaster-prone localities, and predicted a higher chance of more rainfall over large parts of the country than normally recorded in previous years. Last night's rains also affected some communities in the URR that experienced flooding. A community in Basse was reportedly submerged with blockages everywhere and vehicles forced to divert. Answane Sonyasi for QTV News.
In other news, in a task force operation involving officers of the National Drug Law Enforcement Customs and the NEA public health officers, 22 suspects have been arrested for violation of the Tobacco Control Act. The joint operation is to reinforce enforcement of the Tobacco Control Act. QTV's Momodulamin Choi has been on the operation and has the latest.
The police, together with its sister forces and public health officers, are on an operation to enforce tobacco control laws in Banjul, Birkama and Serekunda. QTV joins one of the patrolling teams, and our first stop is at Serekunda Market. Shops were inspected, with those found to be violating the tobacco laws arrested and asked to close their shops, and are taken to the Serekunda police station to be processed and charged. Pasama Bojang is a commissioner at the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency who doubles as the head of enforcement, monitoring and evaluation of the Tobacco Control Unit.
Now we believe after these activities, it will be a continuity because we're going to engage the head of units like the SOs, the OCs also to see to that there will be continuity of these operations. And being the head of that unit, I will try to be following up, monitoring how significant, how they are moving on with the issues. It may not be like we'll see we are moving today, but there will be continuity. Power will be vested on the station officers, the police officers, the GRA personnel to act accordingly.
The operation targeted the enforcement of the Section Act, which prohibits anyone to display or make visible a tobacco product at any point of sale. If found guilty by the courts, these suspects can be fined not less than $10,000 or face at least a year in jail or face both penalties. Sherifo Singate is a senior program officer at the Non-Communicable Disease Unit of the Ministry of Health.
So Ministry of Health and partners like the Tobacco Policy Alliance for Africa, TOPAFA, has supported the Ministry of Health to make sure that this act is enforced and that provisions in the act are seriously taken by the public.
Exposure to or use of tobacco contributes to all the major NCDs in the Gambia. The Tobacco Control Act promotes limitations to the public health problems tobacco causes to our population. Lamin Kesise, a public health officer, tells us about the serious public health complications to our population posed by tobacco.
Smoking is contributed in a lot of non-communicable diseases like asthma, diabetes, hypertension, and then also we have realized that a quite number of females are also involved in smoking. So this is also leading to some of these miscarriages that are seen in our facility.
In 2010, a health survey on the prevalence of tobacco consumption in the Gambia indicated that 16.7% of Gambia's adult population aged between 25 to 65 smoke cigarettes. This means an estimated 367,000 of our population are cigarette smokers. The study further revealed that the prevalence of tobacco consumption in children aged between 13 to 15 is 10.5. This is the staggering figure for the Health Ministry that wants zero prevalence of tobacco smoking among children. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
From that story, we will go for a commercial break. Still to come, we have more stories. Do stay tuned.
I am the light goddess. Everything I touch turns into light. I am the light at the end of the tunnel, and my technology is the answer. I am the happiness in your life. I keep you connected, and I am Q-Power. I am Q-Cell. I am Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Call 111 for more information.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. Q-Cell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Welcome back. UNFPA, in collaboration with partners, on Saturday gathered stakeholders and school children from across the country to commemorate Menstrual Hygiene Day, with a renewed call for more investment to address the stigma and discrimination linked to menstrual period. Menstrual Hygiene Day is commemorated globally on 28th May each year. Aliu Sise reports.
The event provides an opportunity platform to highlight the importance of menstrual care and raise awareness about issues faced by women and young girls who lack access to sanitary products. The theme for this year's commemoration is making menstruation a normal fact of life by 2030. Globally, women undergo menstruation for an average of 5 to 6 days a month. Though it is natural and normal, it remains a societal taboo as it comes with discrimination and stigma in many societies. Additionally, the lack of proper menstrual hygiene products remains a problem for many who lack access to recommended menstrual products. For these reasons, in observing the day, the UNFPA, in partnership with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education and other partners, convened a national adolescent symposium to discuss the problem to find solutions. Ndei Rossar, UNFPA country representative, said globally an estimated 500 million women and girls lack access to menstrual products and hygiene facilities, which in the long run can have a negative impact such as early marriage and pregnancy. Rossar calls for significant investment to address this issue.
And that is why UNFPA, with the support of the UN Peacebuilding Fund and in partnership with the Ministry of Gender and Social Welfare, Children and Social Welfare, established the first reusable menstrual pad production center in Basse, which to this date have produced and distributed around 8,000 reusable pads.
Fatou Kinte, the Gambia's Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, added her voice to the call for concerted efforts to ensure no girl leaves school or is subjected to discrimination and stigma because of menstrual period. She described menstruation as something natural and normal, while she encouraged women and young girls to take pride in it.
From the perspective of ensuring gender equality, promoting menstrual health hygiene is an important means for safeguarding women's dignity, privacy, bodily integrity, and consequently, their self-efficacy.
Binta Jeng, a representative of Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, said her ministry has taken actions including the issuance of menstrual pads to students since 2010. She renewed her ministry's readiness to continue in this drive in close collaboration with UNFPA and other stakeholders. Jeng said good menstrual hygiene plays an important role for young girls to reach their full potential.
Some of these girls' challenges are biological or physical, such as experiencing cramps and fatigue. It is also a common knowledge that in many cultures in the Gambia, there are menstrual taboos or restrictions that limit women's mobility. Another challenge involves managing menstrual blood without modern sanitary products.
Fatou Sane of the Menstrual Hygiene Coalition highlighted the importance of menstrual hygiene as she observed that many girls often miss school because of what she calls menstrual poverty. She gave assurances of her coalition's determination to stand up for women and girls. There was a students' panel on the topic period shaming, and attendees were each given some reusable menstrual pads produced at the Women Empowerment and Peace Building Initiative Center in Basse Mansajang, Upper River Region. The center is established by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare with the Network Against Gender-Based Violence through the support of the UNFPA, the Gambia. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
The National Council of the Gambia's Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA, through the Work for Peace project, graduated 30 young people over the weekend on various skills in the Lower River region. Our regional correspondent, Bakari Balde, attended the graduation ceremony at the Mansakonko Conference Hall, and he tells us more.
After 6 months intensive training in catering, sewing, plumbing and solar installation, these graduates are now equipped with the skills and knowledge to explore their potential to earn a good living in the future. Priscilla Hedindon, the project coordinator of YMCA The Gambia, says the project promotes peace, discourages illegal migration, and creates job opportunities for young people. According to her, the project targets people from all walks of life, regardless of ethnic or religious affiliation. She tells us her expectations.
So we're expecting the young people to take charge of this opportunity. So we cannot empower everybody. The project, like I said, only empowers like 100 young people a year. We cannot empower them all. But when you're given this opportunity, we want to see your commitment. We want to see your passion that you can make something good out of the situation where you're in. Because many times some people are given this opportunity, but then halfway down the line, they're not committed anymore. And that affects the progress of the project.
Kaisa Stombok, project coordinator, YMCA Finland, expressed delight with the progress and achievement made during the training and outlines her organization's focus areas.
So YMCA Finland, our aim is to support young people wherever they are, in Finland, in the Gambia, in other countries. This project is a part of our developmental cooperation program, which is called Youth, Peace and Livelihoods. So for us it's important to support young people and their opportunities to learn skills, to maybe create their business or work for a company to be employed.
My Eme Kamara, a trainer at Soma Girls Guys Training Center, explained the challenges they face.
It was not easy at all, gathering different people from different places, gathering them together to teach them a skill is not easy. Because I teach other people who are far older than me, others I am older than them, some I am the same age with them. But though it's not easy to manage with them, but I have to try my level best to put all of them, their minds together.
Seni Bas, the YMCA's LRR program officer, held donor agencies for the support and implored the graduates to make the best use of the knowledge and materials gained. Fatmata Jaite gave the vote of thanks on behalf of the graduates.
Endeavor and you face every challenge and difficulty in these 6 months. Make sure that these 6 months, let it not be in vain to you. Work hard to make sure that you are also happy in life, and then also the difficulty of this world, don't encounter it.
Firstly, I would like to thank our parents for allowing us reaching this moment of joy. May God bless and give them long life. Secondly, I would like to give our sincere thanks and appreciation to YMCA, the Gambia, and YMCA Finland for providing us with these vital skills.
YMCA Finland, in partnership with YMCA The Gambia, have agreed to extend support to young people in various skills training courses for the next 3 years. At the end of the graduation ceremony, 8 graduates received material support to start their own businesses. Reporting for QTV News, I am Bakari Balde.
In the Gambia, in recent months, people are experiencing unusual hot weather and increasing temperatures, particularly in the rural areas. Our reporter Don Williams visited the Farafenni General Hospital and spoke to staff and patients about the unbearable heat. Here is the report read by Churchill Balde.
The hottest time in the Gambia is from July to September, but sometimes temperatures are abnormally hot at other times of the year. The heat and high temperatures are not regionally uniform. The farther you go up country, the hotter it becomes. In parts of provincial Gambia, such as Farafenni, some people prefer spending the nights on the veranda or under open skies. At the Farafenni General Hospital, the effect of the heat is taking its toll on both staff and patients. Fode Jallo, a state-registered nurse and head OPD, explains.
This day the sun has been so much scorching on people. Remember, the skin is the protective layer of our body. So if the sun is very, very hot, it can give a negative impact on the skin, most especially the children or the neonates. It's very easy for children to even go into febrile convulsion when the sun is very, very hot. So too much of heat can make people to go into hypothermia, especially in children, which can even make them to convulse. But definitely these days we are having so many patients that are coming to the OPD with very, very high temperature.
Omar Cham, a patient, explains why he came to the hospital.
The sun is very hot sometimes and it affects our eyes. I even have to wear sunglasses because I cannot see properly. The heat can even make you feel dizzy. The temperature rises to 40 degrees Celsius. It affects my eyes. That's why I came to the hospital. I am advising people to wear sunglasses, cover their head with a scarf, wear a hat, or use an umbrella.
Lamarana Bah, another patient from Farafenni, spoke about how hot the environment is.
I came to look for medication because the heat is unbearable. Everyone is complaining about the heat. It is safer to come to the hospital for checkup when you don't understand your body.
The average temperature in Gambia ranges from 18 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius, but recently in the North Bank region, temperatures have reached between 44 to 46 degrees Celsius or 114 degrees Fahrenheit. Warmer temperatures over time are changing weather patterns and disrupting the usual balance of nature. This poses many risks to human beings and other forms of life on Earth. As the world continues to grapple with the effects of climate change, the consequences are becoming obvious. For now, the people living in rural Gambia can only hope this trend does not continue. For QTV News, I am Churchill Balde.
Well, that's it from me in today's edition of the news. Thank you for watching.